All right, I think we are live, and this is another office hour for Social Media Pulse Community, and I'm super happy to be here with Dustin, and we're going to get into it in just a minute and talk about all the things, but I want you to know that whether you're seeing this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever you are, you're welcome to join the conversation over in socialmediapulse.community. That's where I'll be answering questions and diving into all the things. And so, Dustin, welcome to an office hour for Social Media Pulse Community.
Thank you, Phyllis. It's great to be here.
You and I have been in this industry, I think, forever. And you and I in this online marketing space, we've seen our share of tools and systems and things through time. But right now, is probably one of the most interesting times in our industry, even more interesting than when social media first came out. I mean, that was pretty buzzy as it was, but
Yeah.
this AI thing is just like really invigorated, I think, online marketing and social media manager communities. So it's very
I would agree with
exciting.
you. Yeah,
Yes.
I really
So
have.
yes, so you have this wonderful timeline, and I'd love it if you would kind of go through that journey with us, kind of high level about, where you started back in the day and how you got to this point, because I think is a very interesting story to tell.
Yeah, so I didn't set out to be a marketer or a social media manager or a digital marketing consultant in any capacity. I was a youth director at a local nonprofit, and I was just, starting to branch out into like a career path, I suppose. I originally moved out to California to pursue acting.
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't know that. See, there you
yeah,
go. Something
so
I didn't know.
fun fact, yeah, I graduated high school. I was born and raised in small town Pennsylvania. Jumped in my car with my dad, who lived in California. He had flown over, and we drove all the way out to California. And I went to school for acting for 2 years. Had an agent, had some management perspectives right away, and really quickly found out that in Hollywood, celebrities act and actors wait tables. And I didn't like waiting tables. So I had to find a job, a real
Yes.
job. Um, and I found a passion for, helping teenagers, and I became a youth director at a local nonprofit. So I had a target audience that I had to reach. I didn't know what a target audience was. I just know I needed to reach these teenagers in a troubled
Yes.
area of the San Fernando Valley. And right about that time, Facebook was like in its prime for like teenagers. Like teenagers thought it was cool. This was about 2008. And I sat in a conference room, went to a conference down in Orange County, California, where a guy named Michael Hyatt was teaching about building your platform and using social media and blogging to build your platform. This is well before he published his book called Platform, and started his Platform University. So I kind of got the first beginnings of his teaching on that. It made sense to me. I love technology. I had a knack for it. I love people. I'm an extrovert by nature. So the idea of social media to me was like, this is great. I can talk to people all day long. And so I really just started learning. Like I just started learning, how to build a blog. And, I was writing things. I was discovering things about social media. So I thought, well, I'll just kind of like write about what I'm learning about Twitter and Facebook. And before too long, I'm writing about the things I'm learning and how to reach my audience and building my own website blog. And people started to notice, and they started to reach out to me and say, hey, you seem to know a lot about this. Could you help my business with our social media? And a new career path was forged. Since then, I've been consulting companies in the realm of digital marketing, social media, SEO, and building websites. And along the way, found myself falling in love with digital products and, the dream that you don't always have to be there to do the thing to help the customer or to help the client. You can build products that kind of do that work for you. And ever since then, I've been trying to build digital products that help people like me with backgrounds similar to me. I tend to always build products for the people with my similar background who are doing social media, who are in the trenches, working with clients. And so that's the journey thus far.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because I can see similar path with so many people as they found that they needed something and it wasn't available. And
Yep.
so that's a reason back in the day, you know, when social media first started, there was this abundance of tools and resources that someone could use to help manage their social media accounts. And now that time has passed, a lot of those tools are gone or have become other things or been bought out by other companies, and that whole arena got very short. That list of tools got very short, right? But now with the AI thing, the list of tools are again expanded tremendously, right?
It's a new wild, wild west of AI tools for marketers.
It is. So you've always supported the work life of a social media manager with you figuring out things in digital marketing and all that. Can you go into just a little bit of the challenges that you faced and the things that and solutions that you thought could help, and kind of like that whole thing of where the problem was and what you thought you could help people do?
Yeah. So, just in the realm of social media marketing, like every social media manager can probably relate to this. You're working with a lot of clients. Hopefully, if you're, in a great place, you're working with a lot of clients, and the creative burnout is like a constant battle. I know for me, my maximum number of clients that I could potentially work with at a time was probably capped at around 6 to 8, depending on how particular the client was. We'll say it that way. And so I was constantly fighting burnout, and I was, constantly having to like just pull ideas out of nowhere. And, because a lot of these industries who need the most help, they're not the most sexy industries. I was working with plumbers. I was working with lawyers, bail bondsmen. I was working with plastic surgeons. I was working with banks, like kind of boring industries, women's clinics, like things that they don't have these super attractive or obvious things to create content for. And so it was always a challenge. I was pushing myself creatively. I was battling burnout, and my clients were suffering for it. So I've always kind of been on the lookout, like, how can I help creatives like me, these people who are in the trenches, not just having to create content, but also having to manage communities and manage relationships with the audience. Like, that's a lot of work. And guys, we don't get paid nearly enough to do everything that's expected of us. Let me just tell you that. You already know, but let me affirm that we don't get paid nearly as much as we should. So like, we need to find ways to be more efficient. And, thankfully I've kind of always had that, this battle of like the artist in me, but also like the efficiency nut. I've got the left brain, right brain, like constantly butting heads. So I always want to find ways to do things better, faster, more effectively, not just to produce more quality content for my client, but also to like save my mental health.
Yes.
That's important. If your mental health suffers, your work suffers. So, and that's not good for you or the client. So I always wanted to find ways to help people like me do things better.
Yeah. And I think a lot of social media managers have that same desire to build something that'll help them in their work so that they don't get burnt out. And so they develop systems, or they kind of make workarounds, or they have, if this and that, or zaps to kind of create this system to do their work. And I know if someone's been in this industry for a long time, you've probably already worked out all of those systems, or many of them. And I find that new social media managers need to understand, if they're feeling any frustration in their business, it's systems. They need to work out their systems.
Absolutely. And that kind of leads to the problem of where the AI industry has been for the last 3 or 4 years. Like, AI has been around for years. I've been using AI tools for longer than I can remember.
Well, even Grammarly says they've been using AI for 14 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's been some form, but even in the last, I'd say like the last 3 years, these AI copywriting tools have really kind of sped up in terms of like how many there are and things that they do. But you know what the problem was with these tools is they were built on this idea of like templates, and they had a template for this. They had a jab template. They had an IDA template. They had this template. They had that. They had dozens of these templates. And so as marketers, we're forced to kind of use their systems, to use their way of thinking about things. And not only that, like you get past like 100 or so templates, and now you've got this Netflix effect, right? You're like, which one do I use? There's so many. And they hook you with like, girl, we've got all these templates. Look at all our templates. And then you get in there and you have no idea which one to use.
Yes.
And so you sit there thumbing through like, is this the right one? Is that going to work? You try it. No, that didn't work. Maybe there's a better one. So you waste all this time trying to figure out which template. How do I take what I know, my expertise, and fit it into somebody else's box? And that always hurt for me to use, because my creativity tends to be a little bit different than other people's. And the way that I operate tends to be a little bit differently. It tends to not fit in someone else's box. And that's what these templates were for me. But the minute that ChatGPT hit the market, Phyllis, I can't tell you the magnitude of wow and just the paradigm shift that I saw in my head that was about to happen to our culture. And let alone social media managers. Like I saw the seismic shift that was about to happen, because no longer did somebody have to fit their creativity and their systems into somebody else's box. They could just tell the AI what they wanted and it could help them do it. They didn't have to sit and pick a template or pick a methodology. They could just say what they want, say some magic words, and the AI would produce it for them. And it was this light bulb moment that I was like, this is the future. And this is the thing that I've been waiting to build on for the last 5 or 6 years. And, obviously ChatGPT was great and it had some huge value, but there were some things missing that, again, from my experience as a marketer, as a content creator, I'm like, well, I wish it did this. I wish it did that. I wish I had folders. I wish I could organize things. Why can't I search through these and find something that I made a week ago? Why do I have to scroll through a list and guess?
Yes. And the thing is that even in my mind, the few times that ChatGPT would not work, and all of the list of things that I had already created was gone. Oh my gosh, the panic in my body. It was like, wait, did I save all those things? Did I copy them over to Google? I was like freaking out. So, yes.
So
and
having all that, I was like, I need to build all the things that I need. And thankfully, OpenAI, the company who created ChatGPT, they had an API, which basically means third-party apps can tie into ChatGPT and utilize it and pull it into that functionality into their
All right. So now, before you get into that, I just want you to say either encouragement or warning to social media managers who want to walk the path you did to create the new tool that we're going to showcase in just a minute, like some high-level information to them, like do it or don't do it, or do it smartly, or just some sort of advice to other social media managers who love to create and want to create something for themselves. What do you say to them?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a learning curve, right? We don't really understand yet when we first start using ChatGPT, or we'll just call it AI chatbots. Okay. It's a new way of working. And we kind of have to learn how to use it. So people's first instinct tends to be like, well, I need a blog post. Write a blog post for me. And that's like stage one newbie thing to do. Like you just see what it does, right? You're exploring what it's capable of. But I would say that is not the most effective way to do it, especially for somebody who has experience, somebody who has industry knowledge, somebody who has, the skill set to actually do the stuff that it's asking the AI to do. What's a better way of doing it is taking an iterative approach, like really thinking about it as a collaboration with the AI, as opposed to offloading your work to the AI, because at the end of the day, like, the AI does not have your combination of skills and experience. So you really have to take the time to guide it. You have to give it context. And one thing that ChatGPT is great at is context. You feed it enough context and it remembers that context, and it can build upon and utilize that context to create laser focused and highly effective content. So I always encourage people to take an iterative approach. Start with the base level concept. So if it's like if you're creating a blog post, for example, don't say, write me a blog post. Instead, say, I need to write a blog post about topic. What are some great talking points that I should include in this blog post? And what the AI will do is it'll give you a list of those talking points. And maybe they're great. Maybe it's missing some things. You can tell the AI, remove this one, take that one away, add this one and this one. And it will. And then the next step would be, now, based on those talking points, please write me a blog post outline. So we're still not building the whole thing yet. We're telling it, just write us an outline. And it'll do it really quickly because it's just a bunch of bullet points, right? So from there, you've got talking points. You've got probably some good meta description information based on that. And then you've got a full outline. So at that point, what I've seen to be the most effective method, instead of saying, okay, now write out the whole blog post, say, okay, let's write the introduction.
Yes.
Let's write section 2. Let's write section 3. And like one by one, sort of iteratively piece together this article, this thing that you're doing. The iterative approach is so much more effective because you are feeding it your feedback in real time. You're not getting these huge chunks, like the AI is not making these long Hail Mary shots and hoping it gets it right. You're doing it a little bit at a time, and you're giving it this laser focused guidance along the way. The end product is so much better than just writing a blog post. So for social media managers, I would start with something like this. This month, we're in the month of June, and we need to write content for our storage facility client. Our storage facility client is based in blah, blah, blah. Give it the information about your client, about its location, its geography, its target audience. Feed it that context, and then say, we need to plan out a social media calendar for June. What are some important holidays we should keep in mind? Now, the AI, if you fed it the proper context, it knows your backstory, it knows your client, it knows your target audience, and it's going to find all those holidays that you should keep in mind in context of everything you gave it. And the stuff it can come up with is actually really, really good in most cases. And then you just kind of work with it. You treat it as if it's an assistant, not as if it's a push button copy paste machine.
I think that's such great advice, to work with it as if it's a colleague or an assistant or a high-level VA that knows what they're doing, to work with it and make those things happen and to break down those pieces a little bit more. And, I've gone in there before and said, okay, write the blog post just to see what happened. And then I've done the system where you have outlined, where you get the outline and all of that kind of stuff. And that's such a way better result when you do it in chunks like that. I've also found that sometimes when you have something that's created with AI, that just my advice is to put it where you need to see it and let it sit overnight. And then go back and read it, because honestly, there's a little bit of adrenaline involved in having something created for you and you think, oh, this is so good. And then the next day you go back and you go, this isn't so good. Or it's a good start. It's a good start. And what I have found when I have done that, where I let it sit and then I go back, I basically, with my own voice and my own writing, can double the content and make it better. So I like to use AI as a social media manager as a beginning architecture, beginning inspiration, beginning conversation, and then from there take it the next step. I still have a high value on my own experience. And so I value that in finishing off a piece, which is really wild. But I know that
Yeah.
there are a lot of social media managers who want to build something on their own. And you're such a good, inspiring example of someone who has actually done that. And so now that we've kind of discussed all those pain points for social media managers, I would love to see a tour of the tool that you've created called Magai.
Sure.
And I would love and see how it solves those problems, because you and I and all the social media managers have run into those problems, and you just took them one by one and fixed them. So I'm super excited to see how that works. So let me go ahead and pull things up here. And are you on the right screen for that? And
I am.
I will bring it up here. And so, and also I want to say, if you're watching this anywhere, you're welcome to ask your questions right in the comments. If you're on Facebook, or if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're over on YouTube, I will see them and be able to bring them up. I'm happy to do that. And then just a reminder that we'll continue the conversation over on socialmediapulse.community. And I'm going to remove that banner so we see more of the screen. And so go ahead and actually, I'm also gonna move Space Friend, goodbye. There we go. All right, so so now we can really get into it. So give us a little tour.
Yeah, I mean, so I like to tell in the form of like story how I kind of built it, because I think especially our crowd today, social media managers, they can relate. So the first thing I wanted when I was using ChatGPT is like I immediately wanted to be able to separate client from client, work from personal, and I wanted a way to just sort of silo off my different things. I didn't want everything to be in the same exact list, right? I don't want my content for, the storage facility to be mixed with my personal content. Like I just wanted it to be separated. So the first thing that I built into Magai was this idea of brands. And in Magai, basically your entire experience is separated by brands. So you can create your own brands. You can see I have a list of brands here in the left. And whenever you select a brand, everything that you see throughout the app is only the things that you've created for that brand. So you can easily segment what you're doing. And that was important for me just for the sake of sanity. But going into Magai, you've got your dashboard, and then you've got a list of your chats. So unlike ChatGPT, where it's just the chat, that's all you have, and a list of everything on the side. We actually have a section that most people are probably accustomed to using, kind of like Google Docs, where you can see a list of all the things you created. And here's the beauty: you can search them. You can type in a word and instantly search through all of them for what you're looking for. There's also an ability to kind of filter them by whether it's archived or not. So you have the ability to, like, if you're done with this, you can archive it and get it out of the way. Or you can delete it, I guess, and get rid of it forever. So that was important for me, just being able to search and filter my chats. But when you go into a brand new chat, I'll just start a new one here. The interface is, I like to say, it's sort of this hybrid of ChatGPT, but also a familiar document editor, because most of us, we're using ChatGPT to build text content that is either going to be put on social media or put on a website. And so it's much nicer to have an interface that you're almost used to, but it's also nice to have an actual document right within the interface that you can write in and kind of build the actual document side by side with the chat.
Imagine that. Oh my
Imagine
gosh.
that, right? Instead of having to like get a chat message, copy it, switch the tab over to Google Docs, paste it in, come back over here. It's like,
Yeah.
that's way too much clicking.
Yes.
My finger would get cramps by the end of the day. So you have this ability inside Magai, not just to chat with the AI, but also to build a document side by side. You can add a title, you can add the content here, and it is a rich text editor. So Let me switch to rich text mode. So you've got some formatting things in here. You can bold,
Great.
italics, headings, and so forth. So you actually build a full document side by side with your chat.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's one big thing, because again, I'm writing blog posts, I'm writing website copy, I'm writing social media posts. I want to build them all right within the chat without having to switch my context. Some other cool little features here. So you can view the chat info, just information about the chat, but also saved prompts. So if you are like me and you find yourself using the same product descriptions or the same target audience descriptions or the same prompts again and again and again, it's nice to not have to, again, open up a Google Doc and like save them all in there. With Magai,
Or hunt for them again.
Or
Like
hunt for
where
them.
where did I put
Where
that?
did I put
Yes.
that again? Which Google Drive folder inside of a folder?
Which client Google Drive? Oh my gosh, seriously.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm a bit of a Google user myself, so everything is in Google some form or shape. But you can create and save prompts right inside of Magai. You can create a new prompt here in the interface, and you can search through your saved prompts, and with a single click, copy that prompt and paste it right inside the text area. And this is actually a really fun one that I use. So every week I do a sort of like a newsletter, but on Twitter. I do a roundup of the latest AI and ChatGPT news. But I like to do it in the form of SNL, the Weekend Update on SNL, if you're familiar with that, where it's news, but it's like funny news.
Yes.
So I've created a prompt that says, I'm going to feed you articles. Your job is to read the page content, which we'll get to about that extra feature, summarize it in an SNL Weekend Update style short paragraph, and use this format when you respond. Title of the article, your SNL style summary, link. Do you understand? So I use this prompt every single week, almost every day, because I have one document or one chat where I just keep feeding it articles and it keeps spitting it out. So I really only use it once a week, but I use that chat daily because it spits out this format. But before
but wait, we just have to stop because that was gold. I just have to tell you right there, to have a prompt that you're going to use, it's like a template that people are used to the word template, right? So, but this prompt that you've saved that has what goes where, to be able to create the content that you're going to put on social so quickly like that is wonderful. And also note that there is still input from you. You still have to provide the content it's going to pull from, which makes it that cooperative situation again, which is such a good way to look at AI. But before we go on, hold your next thought, because I do want to show this, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening there from Brad. Magai rocks, cool features you don't see elsewhere. And then also someone inside the group saying the side-by-side document builder is a super feature. And I'm going to get to Deb's question in just a little bit, but I know Deb right now is going, hey, I could use this for this thing and this thing and this thing. So I'm super excited that Deb is in the audience today. So, okay, continue with the tour.
Yeah. So just one more note here. So this, again, is a prompt that I created. It's not somebody else's template that I have to fit my creativity into, right? I came up with this structure. This is my methodology, and it's amazing how the AI just does it. It just takes my instruction. Now, before I send this prompt over to GPT, another power feature that I built into Magai is something that a lot of people aren't even aware of that is happening behind the scenes. So when you start a chat with ChatGPT, that AI has been given a set of system level instructions. It's called the system message. So basically, they've built in this single set of instructions to tell the AI how to interact with your content. And that instruction is very simple. It is, you are a helpful assistant. And this informs
I didn't know that. How wonderful. They put that in there.
it sets the AI up for like, how's it going to respond? And that's why it's so friendly in how you interact with it. But many people have learned, like, you can give it instruction on top of that. You can say, act like a marketing expert, or act like a copywriting expert, or act like a
Yes.
A literary scholar, whatever you need. You can tell it what personality to take on, and it will sort of be more focused on that area. So the problem is with GPT-4 in particular, this is in OpenAI's documentation. It says that the AI gives more weight to that system message than any instructional information after that. So even if you do give it that next instruction of like, I want you to be this literary scholar, it's still starting off with this wide range of knowledge, and then it's kind of funneling down and as a secondary weight, taking your instruction into effect. But with Magai, since I'm working with the API, I actually have the ability in Magai to manipulate that system message and to bypass it and replace it with something else. So I created what's called personas inside of Magai. And essentially a persona is just a preset personality that you want to give the AI for a very specific outcome. So you see, I've got things like marketing expert or expert copywriter or stand-up comedian, which is what I'll use here next. Gift concierge. So I've come up with all these use cases of how someone might want the AI to act, and we can give it that instruction and narrow the focus of the AI so that the output is so much more aligned with the outcome that you want.
Wow.
And all you have to do is just click a button or search. We also have the ability to make custom personas, which if we have time, we can get there. But you can create your own personas. If you have your own needs, your own personas that you want to create, you can do that. So I'm going to choose my stand-up comedian. So the instruction behind the scenes is right here. It says, you are a stand-up comedian. You make people laugh with your satire, jokes, and humor. You answer everything in a humorous way to cheer the user up. Use satire and make fun of everything the user says in a positive way. So I'm going to choose that persona. So I've got GPT-4 selected here. There.
Do you see the question real quick? Did you ask the AI to research and create the personas?
Oh, I did not. There was actually a lot of people exploring this online, and I just kind of took this from a bunch of stuff I was consuming, people experimenting with it. But I do have a planned feature for the custom personas section of Magai that will be an AI-powered help me create a persona.
That's awesome.
The AI will help you. So got GPT-4 selected. Little sneak peek here. Nobody has access to this yet, but I do have a secondary AI built into Magai, which people will be able to select from, but that's at a later date. I've got my persona selected. I've got my prompt here. So I'm going to go ahead and send the prompt, and you'll see how the AI responds in a way that is aligned with the persona. Now, it does take a little bit of time. So with ChatGPT native, the AI will start typing right away. Most people are used to that. It just starts going. With Magai, since we're doing an API call, we're basically sending your information over to ChatGPT. We have to wait until it's done typing to receive the full message back. So that's why you don't see it typing everything out. And it feels like it takes a little bit longer, but it is doing exactly what it does on ChatGPT. And here we go. Says, oh, I understand totally. So basically, I'll be like the love child of Colin Jost and Michael Che, reporting the news with a twist, and you'll be my wonderful and totally unappreciated intern sending me the stories. Sounds like a blast. If we had a live audience, I'd crack a joke about you, but no pressure on getting the laughs. Let's get this comedy show on the road. Awesome. Brilliant, right?
It's ready to go.
Right. I have so much fun with this. This is like one of my favorite things to do during the week. Now, a few things you can do here inside Magai. If you hover over your message that you sent, you have a couple buttons here. A copy, if you want to copy your prompt for some reason and put it somewhere. Maybe you want to paste it over in the in the document here, or you can save it. So in one button, you can save that prompt and it gets saved to your prompt library. And then when you hover over the message itself, another few tooltips come up or buttons come up. The copy button to copy the entire thing if you want to. There is a regenerate button where if you don't like the response, just click the button and it'll do it all over again. A delete button. But also something that you don't necessarily have in ChatGPT is an edit button. So let's say it generates something and like 3 out of 5 things it said were really good, but like those other 2 were weird or wrong. And you don't want it to remember that in the context, but you want to keep the rest. So you can actually hit the edit button and delete whatever you need to delete or add whatever you need to add back into that message. That way, for the rest of the conversation, you are controlling the output because anything that's in that conversation, it's going to remember. So if there's something you don't want it to keep in that context of that conversation, remove it, edit it, hit save, and continue on your conversation.
Very nice.
So that's pretty much it. So in this, there is baked in something that was also important for me. Now, a lot of people know that ChatGPT doesn't have the ability out of the gate to read a website. And the information that it has, the huge knowledge that it's consumed and informs its abilities, was cut off at September of 2021. So all of its knowledge only goes up to December of 2021. And anything that happened between then and now, it's completely unaware of. Now you can ask it about stuff and it might tell you something that seems true, but it might also be what experts call hallucinating. It might be just making it up. Whereas I'm a big fan of TheVerge.com and their chief editor. He likes to say, AI will confidently lie to you. And that's the truth. It will. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to feed it context of web pages that are new. For example, a blog post. If I have a new blog post, I want to turn it into a bunch of social media posts. The AI is very capable of that, but then you'd have to like copy the entire blog post and paste it in and then have it go from there. I'd rather just paste a link. Anybody else would rather just paste a link? So in this prompt, you see, I'm telling it, I'm going to feed you URLs. And ChatGPT itself doesn't have the ability to read URLs, but Magai does. So let me go to TheVerge.com. I'll pull off their latest article. Let's go this one. Leica's new Q3 sacrifices some good looks for functionality. I'm gonna grab that link. I don't think you saw me go over to The Verge, did you?
No, but that's okay. We know how that works.
I did. I promise I did. In another tab. So I've got the link, this brand new article. You can see it's an article 2023-525. It's from today. Mm-hmm. So all I'm going to do is paste a link and I'm going to send it. Now, what Magai is doing, since ChatGPT doesn't have this ability, Magai is following that link. It's reading the entire page and it's gathering all of the text from that page and it's delivering it to ChatGPT along with the rest of your conversation. So
hold that. Does it also read the ads on the page? Because I wouldn't want it to read the ads.
Only text. It only reads text. So anything within the body of the page would be consumed.
Okay, good.
And so what it's going to do, read that page, and it's going to apply the template that I gave it out of the gate. And you'll see that it does a rather brilliant job of doing that.
Well, I can't wait to have you read it to us and we get a little preview of what's going to be happening on the socials. All right.
Yeah. So here we go. So it's got the title, right? I told it I want the title up here and even formatted it as an H2. And then it says, ladies and gentlemen, gather around for the latest news in cameras that are way too expensive for most of us. Introducing the Leica Q3, a camera with a fixed 28mm lens, compact, and 8K capabilities. 8K, yeah. Because we all need footage of our pets looking crystal clear enough to count every single fur. With this baby, you can finally tell if it's the cat's hair on your own, or your own. Man, I can't read today. That's clogging the drain. So save up and prepare to dig deep into your pockets, you aspiring photographers or cat hair enthusiasts. And then it gives me the link. Brilliant, right? Well, this to me is the real magic. It's like I've given it this instruction. I've told it the structure that I want, and I give it some very direct words. I've set it up for success by telling it what type of personality I want it to be, and it gave me a brilliant piece of social media content. This would be, I could literally copy and paste this. In fact, I will. This is how I do it most of the time. Copy and paste it into the document, and then I end up using it on Twitter for my weekly recap of AI news. But
do you also ever ask for image suggestions to use with this?
I have, yeah. Typically, I mean, because I'm a designer, like I already have an idea, but it does do a great job. You know, if I were to say, what would a great image suggestion be for this? I can add that to the AI, and it'll make some good suggestions.
And while it's bringing up some suggestions, I want to just put this. I love the efficiency you've built into Magi, which is great. And then, and this from Deb. Oh my God, I need this in my life. So, and I knew as soon as she saw a couple of these features that she would be coming back to say that, because it solves so many problems in system situations for people who are doing community management and social media management. And Deb is the best, and now she's going to be even better. And Deb, I will be getting to your other question in just a little bit. All right, so hopefully it will give you some image suggestions for this, and I'm sure it will. But I know a lot of people are not design oriented; they're social media managers, and they rely heavily on other systems for image suggestion and creation. I'm reminded of when Canva first came out, and there were no folders, there was no brand, there was no anything. It was just like a mass of content that people were creating, and they're still trying to figure out how to organize over there. And so it's really nice to see this. So let's see what the suggestion is.
The problem with my question here is I've already set it up with this format.
Oh, that's right.
So it's giving me that same format, but it is actually pretty funny. Picture this, folks: a cat sporting sunglasses, striking a glamorous pose, lounging on a red velvet pillow next to the flawless new Leica Q3 camera. So you can see it did it, but it kept that same formatting, which is cool because you know that it will be consistent with whatever instruction you give.
Yes. And so one more from Deb here. She hates writing social posts about stuff on websites and blogs. And it's true that one of the first things a social media manager learned to do back in the day was to go to a blog post. And from that blog post, you had to create 5 Facebook posts. You had to create 10 tweets. You had to create 2 LinkedIn posts. You had to, take that content and manually do what happens. And now so much of that particular system problem is solved by chat and all the other AIs like that. So yes, I hear your pain there, Deb.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, Magi's meat and potatoes functionality. There's some other fun things here. If you have some different preferences, you can go dark mode if you want. You can go wider or narrower in the interface.
Nice.
But another thing that people seem to love about Magi is brace yourselves, fellow organization freaks. Chat folders, the ability to put things into folders and organize them. So you can create a new folder here. Say this is for my cat food client. And you'll notice also there's a share with team. So Magi has the ability to invite team members and collaborate in chats. So you can share these things with your team or not.
Yes.
And then from your chats page, if I want to click the folder icon, I can move this over to my cat food client and it'll be assigned to that folder. So huge.
You just can everybody might need to pause if you're watching this as a replay and go back and watch that step where Dustin just took that thing and put it into the folder. Maybe you can do that slowly now.
Yeah, sorry. I'm used to doing these really fast.
Yes, I know. By the time you learn the system, you will be very fast. But some of us, what just happened?
So here on the chats page, from the chat list, you can click on the folder icon on any chat, and then you'll get a list of all your folders. Again, the folders that you created for this brand, because we're under a specific brand that we're using.
That's right. Remember, this whole interface is in that one brand at the moment.
Yeah, but when you switch brands, you're going to have a different set of folders, a different set of chats. That way you can keep everything separate. But
brilliant.
But yeah, you can search through your folders. You can simply click on a folder, and it will move over to that folder. And then you can, be a little bit more organized with your life and work. And you can just click on that folder and you'll only see items that are located inside that folder.
That's great. So it's a little bit like, and I hate to say it, and maybe I shouldn't, but remember when Facebook changed to the new page experience and you would click and you switch to a different account, and the entire view of Facebook now became through the eyes of that one account or client.
Right. Yeah.
And how people had to get used to that. Their whole brain had to be rearranged to be able to, it's not just Facebook, it's Facebook through the eyes of whatever account you have in here. And it's the same thing here. Like this whole
Hmm.
interface is based on which account you are or brand that you are seeing everything through. So I think that's really brilliant and very smart. Thank you for
Yeah.
making it that way.
So I wanted to just breeze past these other features because there's one thing I really want to give to the social media managers out there that I think will help. But
Okay.
we do have an image editor. We are integrated with Dolly, and
Oh, how
Dolly is
nice.
OpenAI's image generator. You can type a prompt and have it generate an image for you. Let's just say cat wearing sunglasses. So I'll just breeze past this real quick because it's not the greatest AI image generator. OpenAI has done a great job with ChatGPT, but it hasn't kept up, I think, with the image generation. So I'm actually in the process of integrating a second AI image generator that is of the quality that you see here in this one, very close to Midjourney, but
Nice.
helpful for those who need some assistance on the image creation side.
Yeah.
And
I
again, it
like
does take
the
a little while.
example. Yeah, but just like the example we just did, where the ChatGPT came up with an image,
There we go.
with an
Cat
image
wearing sunglasses.
suggestion to have in this same system a way to create that. Um, is there, again, I have to ask, is there copyright issues with that, or how does that work with images these days?
So there's still a lot of debate over image generation AI and whether or not it's in violation of copyright. Personally, I'm not a lawyer. I try not to get into that stuff, but it sounds like a lot of this is within the realm of fair use, and I think it's still kind of like in flux as to
Yes.
what the actual juries say about this. But as for
Yes.
now, it seems to be they're letting it go on, and I don't see any
Yes.
reason they shouldn't. Personally, I think it's totally
Great,
fine.
great. So now I have a couple of questions for you because I know a lot of people know that there's a paid version of ChatGTP, and
Mhm.
and maybe some people have been on the fence whether I should do that or not. Will the extra features really help me more than just regular chat and all that? And Deb did ask earlier on in the thing, she goes, can Dustin explain the difference between paying for ChatGTP Plus and Magi? And that would be very helpful to everybody.
Yeah. So the difference between Magi and ChatGPT Plus, again, with ChatGPT Plus, you don't have the folders, you don't have the clients, the ability to switch between clients, you don't have the search and filter for your chats that help keep you sane. You do get some web browsing functionality where it can actually kind of browse the web for you. It's
Yes.
a little weird how it works. I've tried it. But it can be pretty effective in getting search results and relaying that back to you. There are a growing list of plugins that ChatGPT Plus has where third-party companies are building functionality into ChatGPT. I haven't found any that were particularly useful. There is one SEO plugin by Inc., a company called Inc. They're building the SEO app for ChatGPT that has a lot of potential. I haven't tried it yet, but they're a phenomenal company doing phenomenal things with AI and SEO. So I'm sure that's great. But you do get a lot of those benefits. But again, for me, I want to stay organized. I want to be able to search and filter my chats. I want to segment my different things, and I want to be able to invite my team. So like I said, we have the team features. You can have your entire team in here.
Yes.
Your team can collaborate on chats. Like you can actually, I don't know if I have a demo of that in here, but one person can send a prompt and another person can send a prompt. You can kind of collaborate within the chat, and that's very important to a lot of
That's
teams.
awesome.
You don't have the image generation features inside of ChatGPT Plus. And of course, you don't have the personas, which again give it
Yes.
it gives you such a leg up on everything else because your outputs are going to be so much more specific and directed, and in particular for social media managers. So one of the things that I was going to give you guys, because you're my people, is one of the best ways to generate ideas is to tell the chat that it is your target audience. So instead of saying, make content for me, for my target audience, tell it, you are my target audience. What are some of the things that you struggle with on a daily basis?
Wow.
You are a single mom. If I was working for like a company that caters to single moms, I would say you are a single mom. You have 3 kids. You're between the ages of 35 and 40, and you are working a full-time job. What are some of the daily challenges you encounter? The amount of gold in the form of ideas that you will get from the AI just by having it be your target audience is like, I can't even describe. I've gotten so many good ideas just by telling the AI, be my target audience and tell me what you deal with. What are the things you think about daily?
Wow.
What are some of the things that make you laugh? Like pure joy when you interact with the AI as if it's your target audience, because we're supposed to know our target audience. We're supposed to talk to our target audience, but sometimes we don't have that ability.
Or we're just pulling it out of our head. We have absolutely really no idea.
Making it up. We're
making it up.
Educated guesses.
Yes.
So turn that into a persona and give it to the AI and use it over and over again. And you have a massive leg up on all the competition out there who's just using regular ChatGPT, and they're not having this ability to fine tune their outputs to these personas. So that is definitely a leg up over ChatGPT Plus. ChatGPT Plus will cost $20 a month for everything, and there's no limits. Magi does have some word limitations because I get charged for every time somebody generates words, so I have to kind of like manage my costs there. I can't, the bottom level plan on Magi is only $9 a month, and you get 20,000 GPT-4 words and up to 200,000 GPT 3.5 words. So the model's a little bit less advanced, still pretty good. It's the regular ChatGPT that you don't get with Plus, but you get up to 200,000 words with that. The next level plan, $29 a month, 65,000 GPT-4 words, 650,000 GPT 3.5 words, and it goes up from there. So some definite limitations as far as like what you can do, but if you're not generating more than 650,000 words a month, $29 a month is more than enough for that plan. Or even the 200,000, like, a lot of social media managers aren't making 200,000 words a month.
Yes. So that's a lot of tweets.
It's a lot of tweets, a whole lot of tweets. But on top of that, so as I teased earlier, I am building in alternative AI models. So right now, Claude is made by a company called Anthropic. And Anthropic is a direct competitor to OpenAI. And I can tell you right now, I can't release this publicly yet because it has to go through an approval process. But the speed at which Claude can produce content I have to do a video of like side-by-side comparison, but it is light years ahead of ChatGPT in terms of speed. What's a good one? Tell me about the most popular cat breeds. Before I finish this sentence, it's going to be done. So we're talking a lot about cats today. So GPT-4 is great, but because of the capacity, look at how fast it did that. And you saw earlier how long it took to just create a paragraph or two for GPT-4. And that's because it's so popular. The servers are bogged down, and there's a lot of action happening over there. And they need to work on speeding it up. But Claude is not only coming up with great content, but it's so much faster. So with Magi, my goal is to have multiple different options for people to choose from in terms of which AI model they want to use. They want a fast one. They want a super smart one, and give people that variety so that they're not limited to just one company's AI. And we know with stuff going on, sometimes they have biases, and biases are built into some of these AI models. And if you don't like the bias of one, switch to the other. So
that's great. So I've noticed a couple of systems are doing that, where you have to remember to select which process that you want to use to create the output. So that's awesome that you're doing that. I have a couple of questions here. Deb wanted to know if you could export. I guess after you get things in the document, then what do you do with that?
So from the document, I'm working on some file format converters. So there's some placeholders here that say soon. I'm working on that. I'm a one-man band over here, so it's a matter of prioritizing what comes first. But
Yes.
Right now you can hit one button and copy the entire document and then paste it to wherever you want. But soon there will be a PDF export to docx, and other things. I just need to work on building out those integrations.
That's awesome. So I just want to remind everybody who's watching, if you have a question, now would be the time to put it in the comments, or please remember that we're going to be continuing the conversation over on socialmediapulse.community, and there's a boatload of people over there with tons of experience in online marketing, digital marketing, and now AI that you can ask your questions to. And so please join us over there for your questions and the conversation. So I think this is really great, and I just want to put one more thing up here, and then we will give you an opportunity to kind of put everything back together, and also give us the pricing, because I don't think you got to that. So impressive tool, Dustin. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you, Phyllis, for putting this interview together. It was really great. I appreciate interviewing very smart, intelligent, helpful people. That's the way we go here. So, okay, so now back to you, Dustin.
Well, I know we're coming up on our hour here. I could talk forever about Magai.
It's funny.
I don't want to bore people. You can give it a try free for 7 days on magai.co, magai.co, and would love people to try it. I'm super attentive, so if you have ideas, questions, I'm right there. You can just head over to.
Now, I have to say real quick, because I can feel Deb sending me psychic messages through the internet. And you were very generous and let Social Media Pulse Community become an affiliate for your product. So Deb has a special link to go over there. And we'd appreciate it if you use that link, because that's the one that will help support the community. So just in case anybody's wondering, we've got that all worked out, and we'll put those links up in everywhere.
Yeah. So really love to hear the feedback, especially from my people, the social media managers out there. So you can always open up a live chat window that goes straight to me, not AI. It is all human powered support.
Are you human? Are you a human?
I promise. This is not a digital recreation.
Yes, I've actually asked bots before, are you human? Because I really kind of want a human for this one. Great. And then I guess you have a range of pricing, or how does that work?
Yeah. So I don't know if I can pull up the pricing here. Actually, I can. Let me jump into a new tab. Pull that up. And
then you'll need to present it. You'll need to share it again.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. So I'm very price conscious personally. And I know all my social media manager colleagues are as well, because again, they don't pay us enough for this stuff. So let me share my screen. There we go. Can you see my screen? There we go. So yeah, starting at the $9 a month plan, again, you get 20,000 words GPT-4, 200,000 words GPT 3.5. No team members on that plan, because we're just assuming personal, you just using it for yourself. We have the professional plan, increases your words, increases your team members. You get 5 team members. That's including you, 20 brands. You get access to all the features. The personal plan doesn't have access to the image generation features, just because those are expensive.
Yes.
Again, charges me every time you do it. So, the agency plan, again, really just increasing every time by how many words you need and how many team members you need. And
awesome.
Kind of goes up from there.
Well, great. And thank you very much. And everyone can get back to this by using the link that Deb will be putting everywhere. And this has been wonderful. I really appreciate it. You can hear my bird in the background. That means it's top of the hour and we need to start putting these things together. And thank you so much, Dustin, for joining us today and sharing with us your journey and
My
your
pleasure.
experience. And it's been a joy to listen to everything. And congratulations on this new tool. And I'm sure it will have a wonderful success. So thank you very much.
you.
So everybody, we'll see you over in social media, Pulse community, and let's get back to work. Bye.